Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to show you why I like using plastic barrels in my garden. In fact, instead of buying the traditional raised bed gardens that you see, I do have a couple wooden ones over here that were in my garlic videos and my carrot videos, but on the most part, I use these plastic barrels here. Right here. And why do I like them? Well, there's a few different reasons. Number one, cost. They're very inexpensive. They don't cost you almost nothing. In fact, most of the ones that I'm growing in back here were free. I didn't pay anything for them. I went to a place that was selling them and they were missing the plugs on the top. The place that was selling them, which they were only $20 each anyway, most of them were missing the plugs on them, and they were like, well, we can't sell them anyway because it's missing the plug, and you can have them if you want them. I thought that was great. You do want to make sure that they are not only food grade, because if they're blue barrels, they're food grade, but you want to make sure that they held some kind of food or something along those lines in them. These had coffee flavoring. They were actually mainly alcohol, really. Cost is one of the number one reasons why I think these plastic barrels work. They can work well. Not only is there a lower upfront cost, but there is no replacement cost. These will last as long as I want to garden. I won't have to replace them again, ever. And that's kind of cool. I'm not using up natural products that are going to rot away or manufactured. And there's nothing wrong with like the birdie beds and stuff like that. If that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with them. They do look nice. These will last. These will probably even outlast the best of those metal beds. These will never need to be replaced. The other thing I really like about the style of gardening is it's modular. In other words, I can plant my cucumbers, fertilize them one way, and I could plant blueberries over here and have a completely different soil setup if I wanted to do that, and keep everything within the same area. I could be fertilizing with a high potassium, high phosphate, low nitrogen fertilizer over here because I'm growing maybe some kind of a fruiting vegetable. And over here I might be growing lettuce or something along that wants more nitrogen, and so I can properly fertilize each area accordingly, which is another big advantage. I could have really heavy feeding plants over here and give them the proper amount of fertilizer and not end up over fertilizing my entire bed because I can control better the amount of fertilizers and stuff. The other advantage I've found is there's this thing called square foot gardening, and this type of setup almost kind of pushes you into that kind of gardening work. Like this is one of these barrels is essentially, they're 24 inches in diameter. These will accommodate 2 large plants. So I'm gonna swing you guys back around to the other side here, and we're gonna kind of poke in there, and I'm gonna show you. So here's a good example of what I mean by modular design here. In between here, and this is what I really think is part of the magic of this whole setup here, is in between here you have where the barrels have come together an opening, and inside of each one of those openings I've dropped a 5-gallon grow bag. So the grow bag is actually another grow area. So I have Italian sweet basil here, I have a purple basil here, I have a flower coming up in between here. So all of this stuff is completely modular, and I can fertilize it appropriately, like the sweet pepper, the sweet Italian basil really doesn't need all that much fertilizer because it's just a leafy plant, and it mainly needs kind of a high nitrogen type fertilizer. So I'm able to just isolate its fertilizer compared to like one of these peppers here. It's very easy to, okay, I have a spot here, and I easily identify that spot. I have a spot here for something. I have a spot here for something. I should be able to put a couple of plants in here. I should be able to do this. I should be able to do that. These plastic barrels are cheap. They're effective. They're plenty big enough. You can arrange them any way you want. You can use the spaces in between for growing different herbs or flowers or any of that type of stuff. These plastic barrels are absolutely a fabulous resource. Don't ignore them just because they're plastic. They are food grade plastic. They are safe to use, and you'll never need to replace them. You can treat them just like you would any other raised bed. For some of you people dealing with gophers and things that are tunneling up underneath, the bottoms are basically solid too. So, I mean, the drainage is fantastic. You don't really have to worry about things burrowing up and coming up underneath into them and stuff. And even if they did, you could easily take one of these apart, dump out, whatever happened to get in there, and take care of the problem a lot easier without having to tear everything down. These are, well, they're perfect for me, and they might be perfect for you too. It's obviously effective. I'm growing a ton of stuff right here, and it all looks absolutely fantastic. These tomato plants are just getting loaded with tomatoes. Absolutely loaded. So, yeah, getting some tomatoes back here. These are looking pretty, oh yeah, getting a lot of tomatoes in there. If you got something out of the video, like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.